my channel. I'm Shanice, and I am here to just share my experience as a Black American living abroad here in Nigeria. The first thing that we're going to do is y'all just going to hang out with me as I talk about my experience. My channel, the one thing I want to, do with this channel is just be as authentic as possible. Um, and I want to just start off very slow. One, because I don't know what I'm doing on YouTube yet. So when I say I don't know what I'm doing, I'm talking about like editing. So I'm just taking it slow here. But as I progress in the YouTube world, I later on want to bring you guys on like day in the life and show you like the normal things like going to the grocery store, going to lounges, getting my hair done, my feet done, hanging out, taking the girls to school, those normal things. I want that to come later. But the first thing I want to, talk about and build community on is internally. Just bring you guys along on the ride of what it feels like for me to be in this transition first. So, talking about some of the things that I'm experiencing here. But the first thing I want to show y'all is one of my favorite drinks. One of my favorite drinks that I have discovered here in Nigeria. The first place that I had it was in Lagos. It is this exotic. It is so good. It is pineapple and coconut nectar. There's no preservatives, no artificial colors or flavoring, and we'll get into the food in Nigeria in just a moment, but it is one of my favorites. So I'm going to take a sip of this right now, and then we're going to get started. Mm. Was that an ASMR? I don't know, but so the one thing I want to talk about today is how I'm feeling. If you follow me, let's start there. If you follow me on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook and it has brought you here, welcome. Thank you. And I'm going to thank you always because your questions, your curiosity, and just you tuning in has built this level of encouragement in me to be confident enough to share my story. Because sometimes, as a Virgo, number one, I'm a perfectionist and I want things to be perfect before I put it out. And number two, I'm very private. I'm a very private person when it comes to personal things and life changes. So your questions, your curiosity, and your well wishes have given me the encouragement and the boost that I feel like I needed to really put all of this out there. So thank you. I appreciate that. So one thing that I did share was how I'm feeling, peace versus boredom. And honestly, I don't know if I'm at peace or if I'm just not used to this kind of life. I just don't know because nobody really talks about that part of a move. When you are making these big moves, especially moving to another country, this big life change, and even if you're moving to another state, people talk about the excitement, they talk about the culture, they talk about the beauty of it all, but they don't really talk about what it is or what it feels like when everything just slows down. And now that I'm here in Nigeria, that is one of the biggest things that is like sitting heavy on my chest. It's quiet in a way that I didn't expect. And it's not just physically, it is internally. And that's why I want to talk about what's happening internally. Because I've been asking myself, am I bored? Or is this what peace actually feels like? I can't decipher. Because before moving to Nigeria, I had this picture in my head, right? I thought that I would be outside consistently and inspired by everything. I thought I'd always be doing something and always documenting something. I thought that I would just feel very full all day, every day. But the reality is, it actually feels spacious. And that spaciousness, it is both beautiful and uncomfortable, right? And because I'm used to movement. I am used to structure. I am used to having somewhere to go. I am used to having something to do. I'm used to having like a thing, a checklist to check things off. I'm a Virgo. I'll say it again. And I've had those moments where none of that existed. I have nothing to do. And I didn't realize how much of my identity was so tied up in being busy until I had space to just be. So I want to talk about some of the adjustments that I've been experiencing because it's been a lot. There's been quite a few adjustments, and I'm just going to name them. I'm going to just jump around and talk about them because it's not just surface level adjustments. It's that kind of shift that has you think about how you feel and how you move through it every single day. So I'm just going to toss them out. I'm just going to spit out the adjustments. So the first one is the pace of life, right? Things are just much slower here. And I don't mean traffic. Traffic is still crazy when you're running errands, but I mean energetically, life is slower. There isn't this consistent urgency. Like in the US, everything feels like you're on a clock or a hamster wheel, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. But here, things happen when they happen. And at first, it can feel very frustrating. But then it starts to feel like a release. Like my shoulders drop and you don't have to rush through everything on your own. Um, so that's one. Another adjustment is the power outages. And if you're on Instagram, you heard me talk about it. But this was a real one for me. There are moments when the power just goes out, just boop, just goes out. And you have no choice. You just got to adjust, right? You can't rely on things the same way you did back in the States. And this is me talking to myself. I had to learn how to be flexible and I had to learn how to pause. Literally, just stop. And in a strange way, it really forced me to disconnect from the things that I didn't even realize I was so attached to, like the internet or just doing. Oh, speaking of the internet, that's the number three. There's the internet. It can be something as simple as watching your own show, like on Netflix, or accessing a website. We still have a home abroad, and we tried to pay the mortgage, and we couldn't access the site. Some things just don't work the same. They just don't work the same. You have to be more intentional, and you have to be more patient. And it made me realize how much I took convenience for granted. You just don't know until you know, right? The next thing is the food. Food was another adjustment for me. There are a lot of carbs here. There's rice, there's yam, there's bread, and the food, it feels heavier and so much more filling. But at the same time, there's this freshness to the food that feels different to the meat, the vegetables, and the fruit. It is less processing, less contamination, and it's really interesting to be able to listen to my body and see how my body responds differently to the food before, during, and in between meals. The next thing is the support, and this one is a layered one for me. This is one of the biggest adjustments. Now, I have support at home from my family and my friends, and I don't take that for granted at all. But here, the support feels more present in everyday life. It's more communal, and I am deeply grateful for that. But receiving that level of support, it has also been another adjustment for me because I'm used to doing a lot of things on my own, not because I had to, but because I had my own particular way of doing it. So now I'm learning to receive without the need to earn it or do it my way. That's hard for a Virgo like me. And all of these adjustments, they really tie back again to that original question that I was asking myself. Am I bored or am I experiencing peace? Because when you are used to consistent stimulation, peace can feel unfamiliar, it can feel uncomfortable. It can even feel like you're doing something wrong because there was this one moment that really made me that really made things feel real for me. I remember sitting outside in our front yard and everything was just quiet. There was no pressure, there was no urgency, there was no long list of things I needed to do, there was no mental checklist. And instead of me being able to feel the feeling of relaxation, I felt unsure. Like, what do I do with this time? And that's when it hit me. I'm not used to stillness. I'm used to movement, whether it's physical or mental movement. So this version of life is requiring a different version of me. And another thing, and again, I'm just spitting them out. Another thing that I'm adjusting to is the unpredictability. Things don't always go as planned here, whether it is timing or logistics or access. I really have to learn to go with the flow. It can be annoying because I'm a Virgo and I like structure, but for somebody like me, because I thrive on that structure and that planning, it's been a big stretch. But it's also been a lesson of surrendering for me. Even socially, it really feels different. There's a huge, huge emphasis on connection, on presence, and specifically being with people, which is hard for me. I like to be solo dolo sometimes. It's less transactional and it is more relational. And I've been learning how to be present with that instead of thinking about what's next or how can I quickly end the conversation so I can get going. But it's important to be with people here. And something else I didn't expect is how much of this experience would make me reflect on myself. I knew that I would do a lot of reflection, but it's been a lot more, not just where I am physically, but who I am, like what I value, what I've been holding on to, and what I really need to let go of, you know? Because when your environment changes, you don't have those same distractions. New distractions come up, and you don't have those same routines that force you to deal with those same distractions, but you're faced with yourself and in a very real way. And for me, that's where the real work is beginning to happen. And that's why I said, let me start internally first and learning how to adjust and learning how to simply just be. Not always producing, not always planning, or not always feeling like I need to hurry up and finish something to get to the next thing, but to really sit in the moment and let that be enough. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, that is hard for me. That is so hard for me because I am used to doing, I'm used to building, I am used to moving, I am used to achieving. But I think this season is it's teaching me something different. And it's teaching me that stillness is not emptiness. And that peace is not laziness. Slowing down doesn't mean that I'm falling behind. And it's definitely not boredom. So, yeah, this is still new for me. I'm still adjusting. I'm still learning. I feel like I'm always going to learn. I'm a forever student because I'm still becoming. And I don't have everything figured out, but I am allowing myself to experience it fully, to question when things come up, to grow through it. Um, and if you are watching this and you've ever gone through a big life transition, such as this one, where everything feels unfamiliar, or you're not quite who you used to be, but you don't know who you're becoming, you're not alone. We're in this together. I am here with you, and I can't say it enough. I'm very, very, very appreciative of all of you asking questions, being curious, because your curiosity brought me here. Um, and I'm figuring it out in real time along with you. So, thank you, thank you, thank you. I will take you along with me. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.